thanks for joining me, Mark, for a quick chat. I was just wondering initially if you could tell people a little bit about why you were looking to work with the trainer, what your initial goals were before we started, and where you were at a little bit with your like health and fitness before we started.
Right, yeah. So health-wise, yeah, it wasn't that good really. Suffering from high blood pressure, high cholesterol, um, just generally almost diabetic, all the things that fat people get because of unhealthy lifestyle. Um, and I just started a relationship a few months previously. So, I need to do something about this. And I've been to the gym. I've been to the gym 100 times. And whereas you go with it with all the best intentions at the beginning, it starts petering off very quickly, actually. I can't be bothered. Or I've got this to do, so I'll do it tomorrow. It's always an excuse not to go. Um, and so I knew that that wasn't going to work, so I just didn't have the self-discipline to do that.
Yeah,
And I had somebody, like a personal trainer, to kind of say, right, this is what we're doing. And you're not getting out of it. Unless there's a really good reason, you ain't getting out of it.
just yeah, yeah, a
Otherwise,
bit of
yeah,
accountability.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the goals were really was predominantly to lose weight, but also to build up the muscle. I used to be very sporty when I was younger, but obviously years go by, and just the modern living um, and the convenience of food and that just you just eat junk, and it's cheaper than eating healthy food. It is, but at the same time, it then means that you're not very healthy. You don't, and it got to the point with me where I couldn't even walk around a supermarket without getting very, very sweaty. And then it got to the point where I couldn't actually move to get into a supermarket.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's when things had to change because I was never like that. So
yeah.
slowly but surely, things improved a bit. And then when it came to January, where I'd lost a little bit of weight, um, I thought, right, it's time now to just up the ante, get a personal trainer, and actually start hitting the goals that I want to hit.
Just yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you lost a fair bit of weight actually before we started. What were you at your heaviest? Can you remember in kilos what you
Uh, and my heaviest, I was 240 kilos.
240 kilos, yeah. And then I think when we started, you were just under 180. So you did an amazing job actually doing some work before we started, losing quite a bit of weight. In the last 12 weeks we've been working together, you've lost another 20 kilos on top of that. So you're down to sort of mid 150s now on the kilos, which has been great. One of the things we've sort of first put in place initially was your nutrition analysis. So we looked at your food diary, which you did for me on MyFitnessPal, and we made some tweaks, and it wasn't sort of a huge diet overhaul, was it? But it was a few simple things that we changed that helped continue your weight loss.
Yeah, but I think the app helped a lot, that food app, because you just don't realize um, what's in food. You think if you eat a lump of steak or a lump of protein, that's or a lump of chicken, that's enough protein for the day. Turns out it's not. You
Yeah.
need more. And trying to get the right protein intake was the hardest thing.
Just yeah, yeah. That's what people often struggle with. It's not the easiest, and it's surprising how much you need actually, especially if you're doing some strength training to get that
Yeah,
little bit of extra protein in. Can really help. It makes you feel fuller for longer, means you're less likely to snack, and really supports your muscle growth, which in turn burns more calories and supports that weight loss. So yeah, it's really important.
but then also I got to say I didn't treat it like a diet, like you go to Slimming World or you go to Weight Watchers, where it's a diet. You can't eat this and you have to do that, and you've got to buy this product. You don't treat it like that. Here, every now and again, you fall over, you go out and have a curry, or you have a Chinese, or you have a takeaway. Um, but the next day, you're back on it, and and you end up actually struggling once you start eating rich food. Your stomach starts struggling because it's so used to having proper nutritious food
Just yeah,
that you just can't actually eat what you used to. Your stomach don't like it.
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. It's all about making those sustainable lifestyle changes rather
Yeah,
than trying to do sort of a crash diet, which you know, you will lose weight on crash diets in the short term, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, even longer. But actually, as soon as you start eating again, those higher density foods, then you're gonna struggle. So yeah, it's about making it sustainable for the long term. So in terms of what results would you say, what improvements have you noticed since we've started working together? Obviously, we talked about the weight loss. Um, what clothing size have you dropped down? Did you say the other day to me?
So I've gone from, in January I was a 5XL,
Yeah,
and what, mid-April I'm down to a 3XL, which is now um, becoming loose.
just yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, that's way down there. And your strength is actually way up, isn't it? You've tripled the amount of press ups you can do. You've doubled your leg strength. Um, you mentioned also your blood test markers you had checked at the GPs the other day are all back sort of within like healthier ranges, which is really good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And blood pressure, my blood pressure is normal.
Yeah,
Um, I've even got to the point where I'm reducing the blood pressure medication that I'm taking, and the blood pressure is still remaining normal. So, it's the weight. Once the weight comes off,
yeah,
everything starts falling into place, and the joint suppleness, it just starts falling into place
yeah,
once the
yeah.
weight.
Your flexibility has really improved as well, hasn't it? And
Yes, that is down to exercising though, because before I started this in January, I did look into those wonder injections. Weight.
yeah,
But the thing that stopped me doing that and take on yourself was that, well, it's great taking an injection, it's going to make you lose weight, but that's all you're going to do is lose weight. You're not going to get any fitter. You're not going to improve the health of your heart or your lungs. You're not going to put any muscle on, which then means you've got a lot of skin flapping around.
just yeah, yeah, yeah. It's important to have that exercise at the same time
Yeah,
as the
yeah,
weight loss and
because
the healthy eating, isn't it?
it's one thing to lose the weight, but once you've lost the weight and you've got the skin flapping around, you're still going to be just as conscious about your body
Just
as you were when you're at your biggest.
just yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely, it's important to have that in there. But in terms of energy and mood levels as well, have you noticed a difference with that at all?
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. I mean, when we first started it, I used to do an hour session. That was me done for the day in
Yeah,
January. Now I do the session, then I go out shopping, then I cut the grass, then I'll do some housework.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the energy levels are just through the roof.
Yeah, you've got much more in the tank now, which is good. How have you found it sort of working out from home and not needing a gym, just with some simple equipment at home? How have you found that?
Well, I'll be honest, I was really skeptical about it to start with. What's a couple of rubber bands going to do? It turns out quite a lot.
Just
Turns out
yeah,
quite a lot, especially if you're on the heavy side. Your own weight is your own gym really, because you're using your own weight, to strengthen your muscles and to strengthen your joints.
just yeah, yeah. And you don't need huge amounts of space at home, do you? Either just enough room
Oh,
for
good.
a yoga mat. Basically, you do it on your landing actually, our sessions, don't you? And
Yeah,
that's enough. As long as you've got enough space for a yoga mat to lay down and a little bit of space around that, then that's perfect.
yeah, exactly.
And final question, what would you say to people if they're sort of thinking about working with a coach, maybe a bit unsure, haven't done much exercise, maybe a bit fearful of starting exercise, maybe struggling with injuries? What would you say to people who are sort of on the fence about working with me?
With yourself, or blimey, where to start with that? Well, I told you from the start about my knee, that it's really sore, can't bend it. It was just virtually unusable. And yeah, slowly but surely we've strengthened the muscles around that knee, and now the knee works pretty well. It's still a bit weaker than the left knee, but definite improvements there. But also the other thing is not to be scared of having a one-on-one personal trainer and thinking that you're going to destroy me every time, and that after the session I'm going to be aching all over and just because
Yeah,
it's just not like that. You actually know how far to push to make sure that you get the workout, but also to know that you're going to recover in the amount of time you're supposed to. Like the next day, you might feel a bit sore, but the day after, you're fine.
Yeah,
And yeah, that just comes through your own professionalism. That you know exactly, you actually do get to know the people that you're working with. You know how far you can push them.
yeah. It's just finding that right level, isn't it? Of where it's a bit torturous, but not so much
Oh,
that you're waddling around for 3 or 4 days afterwards. So
I've called you a few names, haven't I?
yeah, oh, definitely, definitely. There's been a bit of swearing going on our sessions, some dodgy looks, but yeah, you know, torture with a smile. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah, exactly. Because well, it's the old cliche, no pain, no gain, but it's true.
Just yeah. No, definitely. It's just finding that level, isn't it? But yeah, you've progressed amazingly well the last few months, and yeah, here's to the next few months. Hopefully, we can get some similar results the next few months.
Well, yeah, and the last thing I want to say to people is don't just stand on the scales and think oh, it's not working, or look in the mirror and think it's not working. It comes together, and it ends up coming together really quickly after you've been if you just keep at it for at least 3 months, 2 months. After 2 months, you will start seeing things actually come together. You're going to feel better. You're going to have more energy. Your clothes are going to fit better. A smaller size is going to fit. But you just got to keep at it.
Just yeah. Consistency is the key with it. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks very much for your time today, Mark. That's brilliant. I'll see you next session.
Okay then. See you then.
Nice one.
Look
Cheers,
forward
mate.
to it. Right. Okay.